welcome to Business This Week on Independent Television. I am Blessing A.G. Microcredits are small loans referred to as microloans provided for persons who are unemployed, persons who majorly lack collateral or do not have a verifiable credit history for the purpose of encouraging entrepreneurship. There are various micro lenders. Top amongst them are microfinance houses who provide services to persons who have no other means of gaining access to funds. Now, note I said they have no other means of gaining access to funds, meaning there are other means to gain access to funds. Now, before we talk about micro lenders and these persons who have no other means to gain access to funds, we had a recorded interview with a business coach and financial analyst who talked to us about ways that startups, people already in business, can source funds for their business. So you see, the Talking Business segment today is well loaded. But now we'll bring you a roundup of business activities for the week. So you need to stick around for Talking Business. I'm Blessing A.G. Business roundup coming up shortly. All right, on Business Roundup today, our first story is centered on the International Air Transport Association, which have asked that the Nigerian government and other governments in Africa address charges being slammed on airlines. The IATA stated that airlines in the region were burdened by excessive charges, which accounted for 11.4% of the operating cost. IATA also called on government and aviation industry stakeholders to focus on priorities that will allow aviation to drive economic and social development on the continent, enrich people's lives, and enable the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. According to IATA, the four priorities are safety, cost competitiveness, opening the continent to travel and trade, as well as gender diversity. The Chief Executive Officer of the IATA, Alexander De Junak, stated that already the industry had supported with $55.8 billion in economic activity and provided 6.2 million jobs. The Central Bank of Nigeria has released a total of 610.4 billion naira to the banks for farmers under the Commercial Agricultural Credit Scheme. The CBN disclosed this in its economic report for the third quarter report on the performance of the Commercial Agricultural Credit Scheme, CACS. Part of the report revealed that at the end of September 2019, the total amount released since inception by the CBN under the Commercial Agricultural Credit Scheme to the participating banks for disbursement amounted to 610.4 billion naira for 593 projects, while total amount repaid since inception stood at 368 billion naira at end of June 2019, compared with 338.4 billion naira. And moving on to our last story, the Senate has appealed to the federal government to ban importation of textiles for a period of 5 years to allow for the production of local textiles. This followed a debate on a motion sponsored by Senator Kabir Barkia during plenary session, an urgent need to revamp the nation's comatose textile industry. The upper chamber also appealed to the federal government to provide the necessary infrastructural facilities, especially power supply, to local textile manufacturing companies to revamp the industry. And that's it on Business Roundup for this week. Now we'll take a break. After that, you get to watch the recorded interview with a business coach and financial analyst on ways to source funds for business. Stay with us. Thank you for joining me on Talking Business. I am Blessing A.J. Now, today we're going to look at ways to access funds. Now, for every business person, whether you are a startup, whether you already have a business that you do but you want to expand, or you are an intending startup. Now, an intending startup is someone that I would refer to as you have it in your mind to do business. The kind of business you want to do, you have in mind. At best, you have a blueprint. You've already written it down. Okay, this is how I will start. But you've not made the move beyond what's in your mind and beyond what's on paper with you. So that's the person I refer to as intending startup. You're thinking you have the intention, but you haven't begun. Now I have with me a business coach and a financial analyst, the person of Chinoye Okole. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
You're welcome. So as a business coach, I'm sure that so many persons have come to you to say, I want to do business, or I'm already in business. I have this challenge, I have that challenge, and you've been able to see them through by way of counsel, help them strategize on how to start business and even move it forward. Now, let's assume I am this person who's an intending startup or a startup. Now, I want to begin a business, but fund is still holding me back. Now, how would you put me through? What would you say to me as regards accessing funds? How can I access funds to start up? That's my dream business.
Okay. Wow. Thank you once again for being on set with you. Okay, as an intended startup business person, one thing is, I'll just pick it from where you stopped, that okay. Now I already have what I want to do on my mind.
Okay.
I'm sure of what I want to do, but just the funds, that is not the challenge. Okay, I will advise such persons, or this is what I say to such persons when they come to me. First of all, look inwards. Look inwards first. See how you can meet those in your immediate sphere of contact first. Some of them are already doing so well in their business or in their career, meaning these persons are already successful.
Okay.
You know, meet them. I believe that when you meet them and show them your proposal, and they see how serious you are, even if they don't have the money to give you, because these persons, they already have established relationships with their own business partners, maybe with the bank they do business with, or other financial houses that give them loans too.
Okay.
They can help you with their name and with this relationship they've been able to build over the years for themselves. Soft fund for you, because if you go to these financial houses, they may not give you money. Most of them will not give you. Why? Because you don't have an existing business, no structure on ground. And these financial houses, they are also careful to make sure that their money comes back to them. So that's why they don't really give loans or funds to those who are starting. So that's why you have to leverage on friends or relatives who already are doing well.
Okay.
You know, when you do that, they're going to advise you, they're going to talk to you. If they really want to assist you, you're going to get even more than the funds from them. You know, they're going to be advising you, telling you what you should do when this money finally comes to you. Because they can even go the extra mile for you to help you source for these funds, and they give it to you. So that is one of the options that any startup person should do. You know, look inwards. See those you can talk to in your sphere of contact. Don't be quick to say, I want to go to financial house, I want to go to microfinance to get loan. Because when you get there and you are turned down, that may bring in discouragement and all that.
You may just kill the spirit,
exactly,
you know,
exactly.
enthusiasm that you have to start up a business.
Yes.
Okay, but by the time you look inward into your family circle and even to the friends that you have, you check and you find that maybe there's no one who will be able to give you a reasonable amount of money to start the business that you want to do. Or you've gone to all of them and they declined. What next do you do?
Okay, still for a startup.
Yes.
Okay, now you've actually done that and there's actually no solution coming from that particular option. I would also suggest that you look into some of these companies, good companies that are into networking.
Okay.
Because from networking, over time, we found that from networking you can actually generate cash for yourself. So I also believe you can look into networking.
Okay.
Just make a good research, make a good search of good companies who have actually done so well over time, over years. When I said networking, I'm not talking about pyramid.
Okay, now let's understand this networking.
Okay. Networking, just as we all know, we have many companies, major companies who are doing so well in networking. Some have done more than a decade in business and they are still standing, So it's just for you to make research, ask around, Google. You see these companies, and know the one you can partner with. You can actually generate money from these companies. That's the truth. You can.
Okay, when you say you can partner with some of these companies, the person is looking for funds to start a business.
Okay.
Now, where would you get that kind of fund that will enable you partner with the company? Because it seems like it will require a lot of fund. And if you have that kind of fund, why not put it into your own business? So how easy is it for you to partner with these business people in terms of networking?
Okay, you mentioned if you have that kind of money.
Yes, instead of partnering with another company that has already made it, okay, why don't you just put it into your own business?
Okay, the reason why I will advise that you partner than starting up your own business with that tiny capital you have. I call it tiny because the money, most times, most companies that are into networking, the partnership, the money used to start up partnering with them is actually very minimal.
Can you give us example of how you go about such a thing? Okay.
I think you can have some good companies, network companies you can start up with 20,000 naira, 30,000, 38,000,
Okay, it depends.
Yes. It's
not so big.
It's not so big.
Categories.
Yes.
Okay, so that's money that maybe someone who's serious about business can actually get hold of.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about the person who is already in business now, but you want to make your business bigger, you want to expand. Now, how do you access funds? Some persons will tell you they don't like to seek for loans because they want to sleep with both eyes closed. When you take loan from commercial banks or even microfinance banks, that because you have to repay back, you're always on the edge. When business is not booming, you're not making much sales, you're tense because you have to repay back these loans. So what happens for those who are already in business? How do they get more funds to boost business?
Same thing. You're already in business and you want to expand. That means you need more money. And because you already have an existing business, it becomes very easy for you to approach the financial house, your microfinance banks. They will give you money because they are also looking for people like you. You are their potential customers. They are looking for people like you to give money to. But the thing is this: when they give you money, when they finally give you that loan, the way and manner you manage it will go a long way for you to attest to the fact that really I've actually gotten help or assistance from this particular financial house. Because when you are giving loan, you are not expected to use that loan to solve your basic needs. For example, you took a loan from the bank to expand your business. That was the idea. Okay. But now you are using to pay your house rent. So how are you going to pay back?
And some will tell you that an issue just came up, something in need, an emergency need just came up, and so they had to just maybe part with some amount of the money and solve the need before putting back the rest into the business.
Why you had that need, and you should also know that a bank gave it to you.
Okay.
So there should be proper management. Even if you have a dying needs, as you are saying it, if there's proper management, you will always know how to go about it, because you wouldn't want these banks to come back and start molesting you, because if you pay well, they want to give you more. That's the truth.
Okay.
If you pay well, they want to even increase for you. So many people have benefited from it. so many people are still benefiting from it till today. So it depends on how you manage this money that was given to you. Because if you are a futuristic person, you will know that managing this loan will mean a lot to you. It will mean a lot. That means when you take this loan, for example, if you are the type that don't keep book, you don't record your transactions, you don't even know how much you spend on a day, you don't even know when you are now delving into your capital, then taking loan shouldn't be that option for this kind of person.
Okay. Now let's go back to this networking. I want to understand clearly how it was. Some persons, when you ask them to make research, it's like you're giving them one very big work to do. So they're asking, so I have to go on the internet now. Now, how do I know which company is viable? How do I know which company is for real? Because on the internet, you have different people there, different organizations, all posing to be good, all posing to be real. Now, how do I identify this one that if I put in my money, I'm looking for money to start up a business. So the 20,000 naira that I have, if I put it in, it doesn't seek my own funds, is lost into the investment. I'm now looking for so much more. Do we have such people around? Is this something easy to identify and then go into it, instead of always running to seek loans, whether from friends or from financial houses?
Okay, I personally, I always want to advise everyone that wants to generate cash to look into networking. And like the question you asked, it's very easy to know a company that you want to do business with. Number one is that the company must have a product they promote. You know, I'm not talking about Ponzi scheme. Ponzi scheme is not a business.
Okay.
It is another, you know, what I call it now, a pyramid scheme. Those are not businesses. You know, so when you want to know, there are some things you check out for. For example, the first thing is that the company must have a product they promote.
Okay.
And two, they must have a presence, both on an online presence and on-site presence. That means where you are, there must be a physical office.
Okay.
Where you can talk to a customer care, a human being like you, you know, and anytime you have anything to ask, any inquiry to make, someone is there for you. Not you will have to go back to the online to start looking for someone to know. And again, check how long they've been in business.
Okay.
A company that have done 7 years, you know, 7 represent perfection.
Okay.
So we're told, you know. So a company that have done 7 years, for example, it can be tried. You know, you can do business with that kind of company. And this company have a product. Don't forget that. They must have a product. They are pushing, they are promoting, you know, with that product.
And you should also even know by asking questions, be going around, ask people who deal in such products, how the product is doing in the market.
Exactly. So you must find out which products, what products are this company selling or projecting, who are using this product.
Okay.
Who are their buyers and who are their end users of this product. If these products are really products that people use, is one of the sure pointer that this company is a good company to go with. The secondly, they must have a viable presence. You must know their office. They must have a physical office and as well the website office.
Okay.
So the time they spend in business, they've done already in business, at least 7 years.
Okay.
At least 7
years. So these three
years.
things, you must take note of them.
Yes.
First, the company must have
a product,
the dealer. They must have online presence as well as on-site presence. So when you check them out online, you can actually verify by going to their physical address.
Yes.
And then you check for how long they've been in existence.
Exactly.
Okay, very nice. Okay, one last question. For loan, people who use loans for business, you know, recently when the Santana Market fire incident happened, we saw most of the traders who lost their wares in the fire accident, you know, lamenting that they got this money they trade with from loans, from finance houses and all of that. They were lamenting. And you would feel very, very sad for them because you're thinking, now this person has not only lost goods, lost money, but how would this person cope with the repayment of these loans?
Okay, that question is very, very important, especially for those who are prospecting, who are trying to start up businesses, who is thinking about going to different places to get loan. Now, before you venture into that part of, let me go and get a loan to start up a business, you should be able to be aware of this. Not every person is qualified or certified to give out loan. It's important where you go to take your loan from. The person you go to that will give you loan should have a registered business, because most people who runs financial houses are registered. They have insurance backup.
Okay.
So if, for example, you go to a financial house who has financial backup and they gave you a loan, and now there's a fire outbreak, nobody prays for it.
Okay.
You know, but now
happen.
it can happen. Now it has happened. So those at the point of taking the loan, you normally pay a very tiny amount. They call insurance fee.
Okay.
So and that covers for that kind of natural disaster.
Okay.
So when it happens, you need no pay because you already paid that tiny amount, that insurance fee, that covers for it.
Okay.
So that's the reason why you must look out for a registered financial house, a bank, a microfinance bank, registered, that have this insurance backup.
Cover. Okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much, our business coach and
so much,
financial analyst on the show today.
Thank you.
Chinoye Okoli. It's been nice having you around,
Thank you.
It's been so much enlightening. So for that business person and the intending startup or a startup, whichever category you fall into, note one thing: if at all you didn't get anything from the show, note that if you have to get loan, get from a certified financial house, so that if anything happens, nobody prays like she said, but it can just happen. You know that maybe you're looking for money to start up again, and you're not having double tragedy where you have to think about how to repay the loan that you got to start up a business that a natural disaster has just taken over. But I think personally, I want to try that networking. It feels like you'll be at ease instead of thinking of how to repay. So thank you again, Chinoye, for coming.
Thank you so much.
AJ. Let's get back to the studio. All right, thanks to Chinoye Okoli, business coach and financial analyst, for the wonderful teaching and ways to source funds for business. Okay, now we want to talk about the business of micro-lending, and I have with me in the studio a microfinance expert, the person, Brenda Ogioma. Thank you for coming on the show, Brenda. You know, micro-lending, as much as it helps the person who needs money for business, I believe it will also help the person who's lending. Some persons have money they do not intend to use immediately. I may be thinking, what kind of business should I go into? The business of micro-lending. I've heard someone say that if you can't fight, don't venture into something like that, because some persons can beat you up even when they're the ones owing you money. So how does the business of micro-lending operate?
Okay, thank you. Before I start, I would like us to know the definition of this micro-lending.
Okay.
Micro-lending has to do with provision of low-interest loan to the low-income earners, okay, or the small business owners or entrepreneurs. So the essence of this is for self-sufficiency and to alleviate poverty. That's the essence of micro-lending. So micro-lenders, they involve, they are registered corporate bodies or individuals that can give out loan to these borrowers. So as an individual, you want to venture into micro-lending. There are some principles you need to abide on before you can do that. Even as a financial institution also, like the microfinance banks, they also give out loans. They give small interest to it to borrowers. There are also principles guiding these affairs before you can do that. Okay. Take, for example, as a group of, even group of persons also, maybe cooperative, they can also give out loan. There's a situation whereby, let's say a group of 10 persons or above, like, okay, let's save our money and give it to a particular person on a low, small interest rate. So they're also possible. Then the things you need to put into consideration before doing that, because there is a lot of risk involved also. So as a micro lender, you need to have some principles that need to back you up before you be able to do that. That's what I call the 5 C's, whereby you look at the capital of the borrower. Situation whereby a borrower comes to you and wants to collect loan from you, you need to check the capital of that borrower. You need to check the business. What kind of business is the borrower into? And the capital. When you subtract the liability of that borrower from the asset, what is left? Will it be enough to repay back your loan? You understand? You need to know, does this borrower have savings in his account? Does he have other investments or properties that when he or she did not pay, then those things can actually go in for it? Those are the things you need to, look at for. The capital is very important. Then also you need to look at what we call the character of the borrower. This borrower, does he have the willingness to pay? Can he pay back or can she pay back when he or she collects the loan from you? Because there are some borrowers, they don't have that willingness to pay. They want to collect this money, fine, it's good, it's very sweet to collect loan, but to come and pay back is an issue. You understand? Will this person be able to pay back? These are the things you need to, look out for. There are some financial institutions, they employ people specifically for this, to assess a borrower before giving out loan to that borrower. So you need to check the character. If peradventure that borrower has already collected loan somewhere, you need to check the history of that loan. Was that person committed in his payment? Did he default or not? That will also determine the amount you give to that borrower whenever he comes. That will determine the amount. Is he the kind of person that doesn't default on time? Does he have that willingness? You need to check out on those things also. And
so
also,
there must be a background check of the intending
the
borrower.
Exactly. You need to do the checking of those borrowers. And also you need to check the collateral. Those most microfinance, they don't collect collateral. But what they do in place of it, they go for guarantors. Like, okay, before I will give you this loan, this amount, you need to go and bring maybe 2 guarantors or 1 guarantor. There's guarantors that are capable, that are working, that when you did not pay, you can actually go and hold those guarantors, come and pay the money. Understand? They need to check on, look for those kind of guarantors. Most financial institutions, they will tell you don't come with someone that is not working. We don't need students. The person should be a working class, should have a steady source of income before we can give you loan. Understand? Those are the collateral. Some will tell you you need to have certain amount of savings in your account with us before we can give you this loan. You understand? Then you also need to look at the condition of the loan. There are some markets or businesses that thrive very well in a particular period of time. You need to check the kind of business that person is into. With that business, yield more profit at that particular time. Is it the kind of business that is in vogue at that particular time? Those are the things you need to check. There are some seasonal businesses. You don't expect, for example, now a farmer, you want to give a farmer a loan. A farmer that is into crop farming, and you want to give that farmer in dry season, and knowing fully well that it has stopped raining, how do you expect that farmer to pay back? Those are the things you need to look at for also before giving out the loan. Those are the conditions that also goes with loan. Also, then you also have to look at the capacity of this borrower. Does this borrower have the capacity to pay? If you remove the expense and the debt of this borrower, the remaining money, will it be enough to pay back the loan? Those are the things.
Okay, that's what you meant by when you subtract the liability from the asset, what will be left?
The expense, exactly. Will the income left, will it be enough to pay back this loan? Those are the things you need to put into consideration before you give out loan to any borrower, so that you will not be at risk. Even if there is the risk occur, what we call default risk, definitely is bound to occur. Because there is the probability or tendency that a borrower may not pay back the loan they borrowed. But when you are able to, follow up with these C's, knowing the capital, the collateral, does this person have the capacity to pay? When you follow it up very well, at least the risk will be minimal. You understand? And you should also be firm, be fair and be firm as a lender. You understand? You should be fair. Be fair with these borrowers, and also be firm. When let your yes be your yes. This is your principle. You should abide with it. If they cannot cope, then they go. So these are the things you need to put into consideration before giving out any loan to a borrower. Okay.
Now, before we talk more on the risk and then move on to the rewards, you made mention that there are times that a borrower can default. It's like it's inevitable.
Exactly.
Now, in cases of disaster, like fire disaster. When I was discussing with the business coach before this interview, she made mention of people who had suffered loss due to fire incidents, that if your loan is insured and then you don't have to pay anything, you don't have to do repayment of that loan if you suffered a loss. Now, as the lender, the money you get from the insurance company, does it cover the loan that was given out? Or is it also part of the risk that you suffer as a lender? Okay.
As a micro lender, the insurance money that is being paid by these borrowers, especially from a registered lender, understand? Because these borrowers, they pay insurance fee. Okay. In case if there is any fire outbreak or death or any kind of natural disaster. This insurance will cover up for the client. So the client will not pay again. Understand? So in that case, it will kind of cover up for the client, and also on your part, so the risk will reduce. Okay. You understand? Because the insurance company are going to pay you the money. The money that was insured. If a borrower wants to collect, let's say 50,000 naira, there's a certain percentage for insurance fee that he will have to pay. Okay. That percentage covered up for that 50,000 naira. So if peradventure there is any outbreak, any natural disaster, that money has already been insured. So definitely the insurance company is going to pay back the micro lender money. Okay. Now,
are there other risks involved in being a lender? You know, these days with the use of the internet, a lot of persons have taken their businesses to the internet. They do their business traditionally and they also do on the internet. And micro lending is not excluded. We have micro lenders who operate on the internet. Now, what are the risks that a micro lender operating on the internet is likely to suffer? Okay. Or likely to come in contact with? Okay. Those micro lenders on the internet, before they give out loan, they also require some information from you. Okay. Take, for example, they might ask to go and break your bank details. You should have a running account. You understand? Have a bank account. Okay. Okay, maybe with a commercial bank or something, or even with them. You should have a bank account. You should have a savings bank, and you should also be a monthly earner. Or, you understand? Some persons also based on that. That you should also have other source of income. In case if that's your business, you borrow the money from, you know, something happened to you, you're not able to pay, then that other source of income should be able to balance up. Okay. So those micro lenders on the internet, they also do what we call follow-up. They don't just give money like that. You need to provide information. They want to know your financial status also, the kind of business you're into, where you stay, your address. They will want to know all these things. And there is no way that you give them a false information, because they also have a kind of platform that they will use to check all this information about you, if truly you are right or not. Because I could remember before, it was, I guess, I'm sure it's still ongoing. If someone wants to collect loan, there's a platform they will impute the person's data on to show if the person is already on loan somewhere else or not. So there's a kind of network. Yes, exactly. So if the person is on loan somewhere else, they can't give that person loan. Okay. It's just that no, we micro lenders, we need profit. So some overlook that, like after a survivor for the fittest. Okay. So let me give you loan. I know you pay my money. So that's how some persons run. They don't actually follow that kind of process, because it's like a kind of shortage on their parts. Actually, there's a kind of information like that. They input the data of that borrower to check if the person is running loan somewhere or not. And also to check the full details of that person involved. Now let's talk about the rewards of micro-lending. How do you tap into that? Okay, there are rewards of micro-lending. Basically, the interest paid on the loan also is part of the reward, especially if there is no defaults, which I know is not that it's not possible, but it's inevitable. Definitely, there are some borrowers that want to default. They won't pay at the stipulated time, so it kind of defaults. So those interest on that loan is part of the reward it gets. But the risk that most money lenders do get is this default risk. Okay. Understand? So when the borrower did not pay the loan as at when he or she is supposed to pay, is already a default and is a risk already. So what they do is that if a money lender is able to carry out this assessment or his background check of the borrower
very well. You understand? Do the credit check of the borrower very well. Carry out all the 5 C's. The risk will be there, but it will be minimal.
Okay.
It will not be like when you just feel a nonchalant attitude or like that. You understand? So when you do your follow-up very well, you do a thorough background check of the borrower.
Okay, you ensure due diligence.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because there are some borrowers that will come to the office like, I want to collect loan. Fine, you want to collect loan. They will provide their details and all that. So it's not left for the money lenders to go and check actually if that
verify the facts.
Exactly.
If
is saying the truth or not, the kind of business that person is doing. So those are the principles that the money lenders will put in place to know, to get the real information about the borrowers. So when they carry out this verification, the fact of this borrower very well, I think the risk will reduce.
So talking about the reward again, you mentioned the interest rates.
Yes.
Is that the only way that you get reward from micro lending?
Okay, as a money lender, the interest is part of the reward that we get from it. And also, those are the base, in fact, the interest on the loan is the basic reward you get from it. That's the essence of the business.
All right. Now let's talk about the interest rate. Some borrowers have complained that money lenders or micro lenders in this case seem to be tricky. They don't disclose to you completely what the conditions of the loans are. There may be some hidden interest rates. Is that true?
No. That's why it's advisable for borrowers to go to a registered microfinance institute to collect or borrow loan. Understand? Because most microfinance, they have integrity that they are protecting.
Okay.
Understand? By the time a borrower or your client starts saying all manner of things or hit things against you, it will tarnish the image of the organization. So most microfinance banks, they have integrity that they are protecting. So that's why it's advisable as a borrower, go to banks, financial institutions that that are registered and known by the people and by the government. Understand? Go there and borrow your loan. They will tell you everything. Why will a micro lender cover up some information and not telling you the real thing? It shows that they don't have integrity.
Is it possible for micro lenders to do that?
It's possible. I don't think so, because where I was coming from, we do open up.
Okay.
We tell them everything. We tell them our interest rate, how it's being paid on monthly basis.
Okay.
We tell them all these things. We don't hide anything from them.
Okay. Still talking about the borrower now. How can a borrower utilize the loan? It's not just about getting the loan, but how do you utilize this loan once you have gotten this loan? Some again will complain that it's more like a trap, getting loans from whether commercial banks or micro finance houses, that once you get repayments is usually a problem. But on the other hand, you get some persons who would tell you good stories, in fact testimonies if you like, of how they've been able to do well in their business using micro loans. So what are the common mistakes that some borrowers make with loans?
Okay, thank you. Some of the common mistakes that borrowers made with loans is 1, inadequate planning. When you don't have the right plan for your business, you are definitely bound to make mistakes. If, for example, you want to source for loan to finance your business, and you already have this business running for like a period of time, you understand, and you have a backup plan for it, you go to the financial house, tell them this is what I want to use this loan for. You understand? Give them your plans. You understand? Then you collect this loan. But by the time you don't have plan for the business, you don't even know what you want to use that money for. Because other persons are collecting loan, you want to go and collect loan also, and you don't have plan for it. Definitely you are bound to misuse that money. You understand? And also, other mistakes that borrowers made is that they collect loan to start business, to start up their business.
Is it completely wrong to collect loan to start up a business?
Where I would say it's completely wrong.
You're not the first person saying this. That's what I'm asking. If it's completely wrong to do that.
Now, if you don't have any other source of income, you don't have any place you can collect money from, a steady income, could be weekly or monthly, then you want to go and collect loan to start up a business. You don't even know the way the business will go.
Okay.
You don't know the profit that will come in. You don't know how much sales you will make in that business. You don't even know the challenges that goes with the business yet. You just started it. Then you went to collect loan to start up the business. Then when issues start coming up, you start saying, that money is blood money.
Okay.
Not knowing that you're not supposed to borrow loan to start up a business.
Okay.
You should use that if it is your savings, your own personal savings or capital, to start up a business. business, or you can go and borrow loan to start up a business if you have a steady source of income that you can use to pay back whenever issue arises in that business. Understand? So these are some of the common mistakes that borrowers make when they go and collect micro loans from these micro lenders. Another mistake they make also is that some of these micro lender borrowers, I mean to say, like I said earlier, they don't plan, and when they collect this loan, you understand, they divert it.
Okay.
Maybe you have to use this money for your business. Something came up. Okay, I want to pay my child's school fees, or I want to buy a new clothes now, and here I'm hungry now. They want to eat the best food because they went to borrow loan from somewhere else. They divert this money. Some even borrow money to pay loan. You borrow money from a financial institution,
like robbing Peter to pay Paul.
You understand? So these are some of the mistakes that borrowers do make. Why will you collect loan from a micro lender and divert it to something else?
So how do you intend to pay
back
the second lender?
You understand? These are some of the mistakes they make. So you cannot, as a borrower, don't collect loan from a micro lender to pay another micro lender, or don't collect loan and divert it to something else that you know that will not yield profits. Because the essence of all this is to alleviate poverty, is to make you to be self-sufficient. That's the essence of micro lending. You have a business, I want to support you, to help you to grow that business. But by the time you don't have plan for the business, you want to come and collect the loan, you will misuse the loan. You understand? So I would say mismanagement and inadequate plan, you don't have plan for your business, is one of mainly the major mistakes that these borrowers do make. So if their plan is entered, they have a good plan, you know, they involve the money, the loan they collect, they put it in their business or invest it in their business, definitely you will start seeing the profit from it. Start seeing the gain from it. Then you will be able to pay back. And most times we do advise, when I advised my client then, I will tell them, make sure you be in the business within a period of 2 years minimum. Before you seek loan from a microfinance house. Minimum of 2 years you should be in that business. By then you should be able to know how profit comes in, your expense, you understand? So you should be able to know all these things. So if it's not below, or if it's not up to 2 years, we do advise our client, don't source for loan. You should be in that business for a minimum of 2 years before you can source for loan. And when you source for that loan, don't divert it. Put it on that loan. On that, surrender your business. Then you'll be able to get your reward. So the money should be used exactly for what it was meant. All right, for those who complain and say, oh, maybe there's one spiritual thing, one something fetish, something shady attached to loans, I guess right now you're realizing the mistakes that you probably have been making with loans. Now, SMEs is something that is very key to the heart of government. According to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, the small and medium enterprises in Nigeria have contributed 48% to the country's GDP in the last 5 years. Now, no wonder why government often talks about empowering SMEs. Now, what should government do to strengthen microfinance institutions so that they can, in turn, strengthen the SMEs? Okay, what the government should do is that the government should provide or create a conducive policy and a regulatory environment that will enable these microfinance institutes to strive effectively. So that is one. Then secondly, the government also should be able to provide what we call improving access to markets by those borrowers. They should improve the access to markets and the infrastructure of this borrower. So their business can thrive. Thrive very well, you understand? So they'll be able to pay back this loan when they collect it. The government should improve infrastructure, and corruption should reduce to minimum also, because corruption actually has really eaten deep into the economy of this country. So I think corruption should be reduced. Then the government should find a way of, improving infrastructure. The market also should be improved on. So by so doing, I think the return of this loan will not be a problem for the borrowers, and even for the microfinance, the financial houses too. They'll be happy because once their money is coming, they'll be able to give back also. So those are the things I think the government should try and look into and put in place so that the microfinance houses will be happy, the borrowers also will be happy. Do you think we don't have enough microfinance banks and micro lenders to support SMEs in Nigeria? We have.
We have enough.
Yes, we have.
Okay.
We have.
All right.
We have enough.
Okay, before we wrap it up on the discussion today, now the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, described SMEs in a very, very awesome way. I want you to watch this clip. I'll be back to wrap up the show.
Creatives are probably the only occupational group that still have their reputation left in our world today. And the simple reason is that they don't really allow anyone to put them in a box. So, you know, they can always escape. They can be anything they like at any time.
Okay, that was the Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, talking there, describing SMEs as creatives. Now, do you agree that SMEs are creatives?
Yes, yeah, very creative. So we need to assist and support them.
Okay. Thank you so much, Brenda Ogioma, for
Thank
coming
you.
on the show today.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree totally with that SMEs are creative because they are innovative. And I also agree with the part that you can put them in a box. That's why where there is the problem of fund, how do you get fund? They source for it anyhow, and they want to make sure that regardless of the challenges that may want to impede the growth of SMEs in Nigeria, they are pushing through and contributing 48% of Nigeria's GDP. In the last 5 years, we've been doing that, and we appeal to government to continue to support so that these SMEs can continue to contribute their quota to the nation's GDP. I'm Blessing AG. That's been the show today. Wonderful one from two analysts, two business people advising, teaching, microlenders. If you intend to go into microlending, you know the way now. And if you want to start up a business, you know the various avenues through which you can source for funds. Again, thank you, Brenda, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
You already know my name, Blessing Aichi. Join me again next week for another edition of Business This Week.